will a medical doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid?
But you see how much kidnappers are taking from victims.
My thing is, government should, I think all the stakeholders in that sector, they need to be spoken to, and sit together and agree to them. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So it is support that is needed. And once you get the support, your airlines will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning, Nigerians. This is another edition of Inside Nigeria here at the Leadership Podcast Studio, named The Last Word. And of course, as usual, I am with my regular co-host, Winifred Ogbebo.
Good morning, viewers, and thank you for joining us today live on Leadership Podcast.
And of course, as you can see, our regular analyst for today, Samaila Musa, an Abuja-based public affairs analyst, is seated with us here. Samaila, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Winifred, like I say, every day there are lots of issues every day inside Nigeria to talk about.
Every day, but the issues keep coming up.
From politics to economy.
I know, especially as 2023 is drawing closer, so it's expected.
You know, while I was driving, when I was coming to the office earlier this morning, the discussion on a radio program was about the free fall of the naira. And now all eyes are on the CBN government Emefiele, whether to step down or to do something to save the currency.
This Punch newspaper did an editorial on it yesterday.
The free fall of the naira. But I don't know, there are politics around this, whether it's the fault of the CBN governor or some
but what Punch is saying that apart from that they blame the problem on the CBN governor, that most political appointees, they are trading on it. They have access to these
dollars,
exactly.
Take it back to the black market.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think most of the fiscal policies and monetary policies are not okay.
Them. I read the editorial.
Then our monetary policies are not
really an eye opener.
So by blaming the Aboki effects, he's actually chasing the shadow.
Yeah, that's what they said.
All right. Well, let's go there. We're starting as usual with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. And of course, on the front page of Leadership this morning is politics. Northern Southern leaders disagree over 2023 presidency. Northern Southern leaders disagree over 2023 presidency. It's Igbo's presidency or nothing, says Ohaneze Ndigbo. No, North must retain power, according to Northern Coalition. Afenifere Pande faults Northern Elder Forum population claim. Niger Delta activists back Southern governors. And of course, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is sellable in 2023, according to the Nasarawa Governor Sule. And last but not the least, on the right there is Nigeria unity unshakable, according to the federal government of Nigeria. A potpourri of stories, Samaila.
Yes.
What's your take?
Yeah, okay. This Northern Southern leaders disagree over
Tango all the time.
It's actually it's a common thing, you know. And whenever the electionary year is close, we expect all this kind of debates here and there. I don't think there has been an election in which this kind of things were not on the front burner for discussion or for debates here and there, where some persons would say, PDP, when it was PDP in power, they say, no, it was on a written agreement that power will rotate. But you see, politicians, being what they are, everybody will always want some kind of permutations that favors him per time, and different groups have their own points where they felt or where they feel, this should come this way now. But you see, in the whole is that everybody is just striving for relevance, for where it will get some juicy things and all of that, because when the chips are down, you find out that the man from Bayelsa becoming the president favors somebody from Sokoto in the long run than to have his own brother, even from the same family. Do you understand? So, but this kind of debate is a very common thing. But when you look at what the Igbos are saying, Igbo presidency or nothing, as far as I'm concerned, the Igbos have not shown seriousness at taking the presidency over time. Because if you are looking for, out of the 3 major tribes we have in Nigeria, the most in disarray are the Igbos. The biggest sabotage to an Igbo presidency is always coming from the Igbos themselves, and that is actually, a big issue for them to deal with. By the time some persons felt, oh, start mentioning somebody's name, you start hearing so many things against that particular individual from the southeast. And okay, the north, no, North must retain power. The Northern Coalition vows. I mean, you see, they also have reasons why they felt no. As far as a lot of people in the north are concerned, Buhari's presidency was actually a waste as far as a lot of them are concerned, because a lot of northerners felt no. We were hoodwinked into a one chance as well. Just like some other persons are complaining. So some other interest groups in the north are feeling, look, no. This is actually a no representation of the north. We have to now sit down and say, look, this is the time for the north to actually bring forward somebody that is going to, fill in that space for them. I mean, everybody feel, oh, if it's rotational, it's coming to us. But Buhari is actually not a northern president as far as they are concerned. And then moving forward, Afenifere Pandem Falls next population claim. I mean, that's also debatable. When you say you have all the population, and that's why I think was it a Liberty we're talking about this VAT issue. I say, look, the northern governors should see this as a challenge. If you have the numbers, you understand, sit up. If you have the numbers, sit up and begin to make proper use of that population. Some other countries population is not up to 1 state in northern Nigeria, and they're doing fine. You understand? So really, you should look inward and say, oh, if I have these numbers, how do I make use of these numbers to grow my economy? That should be your drive right now at this time. So really, quite a lot of people are also in this to say, well, if you are also clamoring to say, oh no, this state should not collect VAT, then do something about it. You understand? Because what I find in this country is everybody always speak when it favors them. Like, oh, when this is coming to me, then I'll speak. Then if it's not, then I'll go against it. You understand? And that's not a good one for us if really we want to remain as one. Niger Delta activists back southern governors on, but at that part I don't understand. Back the southern governors, is it on VAT or on this position of the presidency must come
to the south?
Oh, okay, the presidency should come to the south. I mean, that's also expected. The only one that is strange is the Osibanjo Senibule in 2023. I think this is the first time I'm hearing a governor actually conversing, because as far as I'm concerned, or a lot of us are concerned, Osibanjo has been has been caged. And you don't even know if a vice president was in existence. I mean, it was a bit quite different in the first tenure. You feel his presence. You understand, and his intelligence was coming to bear. And a lot of time, people will always feel like, wow, whatever this man is, the president is not even around. We feel there's a presidency around, but some cabals felt they're not comfortable with the way his profile is actually rising.
Is he sending a message across this one that he's supporting?
Of course, the message is very clear that I'll go for this kind of person than for some of these charlatans we're having around.
Samantha, there are moves, in case you don't know, for the Vice President Shibajo to succeed his principal, President Muhammadu Buhari. There are groups already making the calls for him to throw his heart into the ring. And again, I'm
just saying in terms of the government.
He has also been active. If you recall, he recently was named the chairman of the Health Reform Committee by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes. No, also, that has always been. There was a time we named him the burial ceremony vice president.
Just last weekend, he represented the president at a high-level ECOWAS meeting on the situation in Guinea and Mali. He has been very, very much around and doing his work.
Okay, I'm just, because with this argument between the North and South, don't you think, what about the pressure on the political parties like PDP and APC?
I can quite understand the position of both political parties. The PDP is saying it should be going to the north. They are not considering whether APC had, you understand, as far as they are concerned, and the rotational unwritten agreement that they have in the PDP is that the last president was a southerner. So as far as PDP is concerned, it's time to now shift it to the north, and that was what happened in the election that brought in President Muhammadu Buhari at that time. That they are shifting it to the north, so you can quite understand why. I mean, why they have this arrangement in place. But for the APC, the problem with the APC is they actually do not know where they are heading yet. You understand? This group will come up today within the APC and say, yeah, of course, after 8 years of the northern president, it should be another 8 years of the southern president. And the next day, another group within the APC will still come up to say, no. The north is actually not ready, or there's nothing like a zoning. Whoever feels is capable should step into the ring, and stuff like that. So as far as I'm concerned, APC is the only one that is confused. The PDP has made it clear ab initio, except for some, in politics, some permutations change sometimes that might prompt them to say, because I haven't seen if they try to watch where APC is going, it might actually change, affect their own decision to say, okay, let's go this way too.
All right, we need to move away from politics to a bit of economy. Yes. And of course, Winifred will take us through the front page of National Economy.
National Economy, sisters publication. On today's the headline story says, Nigeria's debt profile may hit 50 trillion naira by December. Nigeria's debt profile may hit 50 trillion naira by December. It's worrisome, is it not?
It is. It is.
I think it is a projection. It may be, and it may
but
not
let's even take the figure.
What we are talking about in the report is that at the rate we are
going. Let's even go with the figure we already have. We're 30-something trillion.
35 or so as of June.
So what's the difference? You understand? We don't even need this projection to know. I mean, there's a serious problem because this government is actually not hesitating. The loans are coming in left and right and center every three months, really, and it's sad because if a government who went in opposition was actually holding a street rally, a protest to say, oh, this debt profile of this particular government is actually alarming and it has to stop. They also did not study all these things well before they came. Somebody was narrating to me, he was a PA to a former governor. He said when they left, because the governor also who succeeded them had already left office, but when they came on board, or when they were trying to succeed them, when they were campaigning from the opposition, the major thing they were using is the issue of non-payment of salaries and the debt profile of that state at that time. And by the time they came on board, then something happened. The former governor also decamped to the party of the governor, so they became friends more or less. And then the governor, the incumbent governor at the time, was not asking him that, sir, please, how did you do it? How were you able to we were able to pay salaries and all of that? He said his boss started laughing. That, but you were among the people who were you understand? But of course, a lot of times they know these things, but opposition will just want to be what they are. You understand? They know some of these things are actually not doable. You're talking about a state that, the IGR is very, very poor. And then, you want him to do all the work and this and that. And also he inherited, some debt, from his predecessor. So most of these politicians also know, where these things are heading, but they just needed something to say against the incumbent or the ruling party so that they can actually, but we need to be very realistic. Yes, we understand things are bad. I mean, the economy of the country, or in some cases, a lot of countries are actually, struggling to wriggle out of this mess. But the rate the APC is going, and what's amazing is a lot of Nigerians youths don't see any big deal about this. You understand? Somebody is actually, because these guys are going to face out. They are at the last soon. You understand? In fact, some of them are already holding their boarding pass. So whether you care or you don't care, you are going to pay this debt. You understand? So they are piling it on the youth or the even the yet unborn ones right now, so but everybody feel, well, it doesn't concern me. Let them take the whatever they can take. But there is something needs to be done about these things because it's really not a good one for the country.
Actually reacted and called it criminal for someone to pile up debts for the future.
Well, it's criminal in the opinion of former President Olusegun to pile up debt for unborn generation. But then it's also important for listeners to know that getting this these loans is not bad in the essence that if you need loan to engender development, you need it. But at the rate we are going, I think this is not sustainable. And the projects these loans are tied with are not neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another thing. So we are spending more than what we are
You can imagine if a governor is taking loan and he now embark on white elephant project.
Exactly. It's a waste.
You understand?
It's a
What
waste.
is that?
It's a waste. And we use about 90% of our revenue to service debt. That's also not acceptable. All right, we need to go on a short break. When we come back inside Nigeria, we continue. We'll be right back.
Yes, please. Le Vogue magazine is back in a big way, bigger and better than before. Hadiza, could you please join us here? Hadiza and members of Adam, please. Your attention is needed here. So Le Vogue is back and bigger, demonstrating the fact that despite the demise of the visioner, the vision continues and continues to grow. What else does a man want than that you have lived and your legacies remain and keep growing stronger?
He would just lift it up and then you just lift it.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it now is my very special pleasure and privilege to ask His Royal Majesty, the Sultan of Sokoto, the chairman or chairperson of the leadership group, to come forward and join me and hold on to one bit of this cloth so that we can jointly unveil the bigger, better, deeper Le Vogue.
Welcome back. It's Nigeria. Initially stay with me, and of course, our regular analyst, Samali Musa, is still in the studio to dissect some of the front-page stories from newspaper on our menu this morning is THISDAY. THISDAY newspaper. On the front page of THISDAY this morning, we're looking.
Okay.
Military moves to prosecute surrender terrorists, vow to halt ISWAP recruitment drive. Military moves to prosecute surrender terrorists, vows to halt ISWAP drive, recruitment drive. Samaila, there are reports that the terrorists called Islamic State of West Africa province are already recruiting more people into their midst. And now, good news that military is coming to say, see, the ones that surrender, we are going to prosecute them. We are not just going to leave them to go and join the same society they hurt.
Yeah, I think we've called for this quite a number of times in different fora, including on this platform. Also called for. It's quite alarming the rate at which these people are coming out to surrender. What's changed actually? Because the only excuse we have why they're surrendering is that there's shortage of food. And for somebody who is hungry, how do I trust whatever you are telling me? So the moment your stomach is full, then you go back to business as usual. So really, it's alarming that rate, because we're not talking about thousands of them. I think 1,200 at a particular time. I don't know, and that number keep increasing, of the number of terrorists that are coming in to say they want to embrace amnesty all of a sudden. That is actually not a good one as far as the security, the national security issues are concerned. We also have called for there should be proper profiling of the ones who are actually coming out to to surrender. There's a need for proper profiling of them. There's a need to put a serious tab on them to know where their whereabouts per time, to know what they are up to know whether they are already settling down to begin to live as normal citizens that they were in the past, or they have an agenda to come and start recruiting more people to join them before they move back to the forest. So there's a need for serious intelligence on this people. And I think it was still on this platform. I heard that some of them have been settled in Kaduna, and I do not know the intelligence behind that. As far as I'm concerned, the people who did that are bereft of ideas, because there is no way, there's no excuse you can tell me that Kaduna State, that is suffering, that is now the hotbed or playground of banditry now in the whole of Nigeria as a whole. You do not see anywhere to settle people who are trying to surrender. It's like somebody saying, I don't want to steal no more. Then you put him in finance department. What are you trying to do? You understand? So it doesn't make any sense. People who were trying to see how you can rehabilitate them, then you take them back to where banditry is thriving at the moment. There's no any sense in that. So the government should know what they are doing. If really they are serious about these things, they should know who are these people, where are they? If we hear of anything, how do we contact you? You understand? They need to know that, look, it is not, even if their own case will be a platform for us to test run some of this technological advancement in an advanced climes, to know, oh, we have a proper statistics on some of our citizens, because as far as I'm concerned, these are high profile criminals, so to what extent they want to embrace this peace, it is a matter of time. Because time will be the litmus test for us to be able to say, oh, okay, this is actually genuine. But before that happens, we need to, put a serious tap on them to know, or to say, oh, in case you want to go somehow, we know how to actually round you up, per time. So the government really need to sit up and know, what these people are doing per time, and if what they do, what they claim to come and do is actually genuine or not.
The government need to sit up. Yes. And of course, we are moving to the last paper on the menu today, which is the Nigerian Tribune.
Yes. The Nigerian Tribune says, Clark to Buhari, never base useless in Kano Desert. Clark, and I'm talking of a Pandem chairman.
No, not Pandem chairman. Elder statesman.
Clark. Of course, Clark to Buhari, never base useless in Kano Desert. Says choice inconceived and waste of public funds.
Well, if you go down the headline, there is a quote attributed to elder statesman Edwin Clark. The Bonga oil field, which is the largest oil field in Nigeria, is in Bayelsa State. Two riverine communities, Agai and Amatu communities, are on the bank of the Atlantic Ocean, close to the Bonga oil field, where oil companies are located. Yet, there is no naval base to protect them. There also exists in the Niger Delta 6 ports belonging to the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, located at Focados, Burutu, Warri, Koko, Sapele, Calabar, Port Harcourt, One, and a proposed Ibom deep sea port in Akwa Ibom State. Of all these ports, except Port Harcourt and One, all the others are not functioning due to shallowness of the waterways, which the federal government has refused to dredge. Hence the congestion of the Apapa port in Lagos State. Elder Statesman Edwin Clark is raising, for me, a very, very germane issue that we are doing. I don't know. We are putting the cart before the horse, or we are abandoning important things for the mundane ones.
For me, actually, when the first time I heard about this, my take is actually different. But this quote now actually is changing the narrative. You understand? There are issues on ground. Because I'm of the opinion that, well, whether military, whether Air Force, whether the Navy, whatever, they should have their base, scattered around the country. I mean, if we can afford it, to even have it in all the 6 geopolitical zones, such that whenever there's a crisis, you can deploy all the security forces to go to war from anywhere. But from this quote now, I can see even the places where ordinarily you think there should be a base, and they are not there. So what are we I mean, Nigeria is a joke sometimes. You don't really feel, what excuse do you have? Because I don't have any issue taking the base to Kano, but really, if these places you don't have a naval base, where else do you want to situate a naval base, for crying out loud? Because I mean, if there's going to be any problem through the waterways in Nigeria, it's coming through all these places. These are access to Nigerian waters from foreign countries. So you don't have so is it a police station that you want to situate on the water, or because I don't really know the logic behind all the states?
Oh, the well-trained naval
officers. You understand? So you now have well-trained naval officers here in Abuja. Where the water is, they are not there. Nothing is there. Nothing is functioning. So really, Nigeria is something else.
No, Samantha, like you say, some of these things are unexplainable because there is a need to have government presence everywhere in Nigeria to show Nigerianness, united Nigeria. But then some are unexplainable. For example, Elder Statesman Clark is saying Kano is a desert place. Naval people are not needed where there is no water. Look at the immediate past chief of army staff, General Buratai. He took the Nigerian Army University to build his own birthplace. Then the immediate past chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq, also took the Nigerian Air Force University to Bauchi in his own place. So is this means of abuse of office? Or you want to show? It's an abuse of office. Yeah, it's an abuse of office.
You see, even apart from apart from at the national level, even at the state level, all these things is still playing out. You find in a state where the governor prioritizes his own zone more than any other zone. And the rest of I think it's high time for us to be serious. Let there be some guidelines to say, oh, these are national institutions. Yes. There should be some guidelines to say this informs this decision, how to cite them. Not because today I'm at the helm of affairs, then I'm thinking of what to go take to my hometown. Whether my hometown is contributing anything to that or not, it doesn't matter. Whether it's going to die off naturally after 10 years, it doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned. I just want my name to be attached to it, that when I was there as your son, this was what I brought. And you see, the Nigerian is bigger than an individual. I mean, these are things that will outlive you. So why should you be thinking in that direction? So there should be some guidelines to say whatever is going to be cited anywhere, these are the guidelines to be followed. These are the criteria. These are the qualifications to say, oh, so place is qualified to have these things, rather than it's because I'm there. And even the politicians should desist from this habit of, because I'm there, I must prioritize my place. You understand? Whether it's on merits. You have cases where a governor, even though his own zone already has about 4 or 5 institutions, the new one coming still wants, it has to be in that same zone.
It doesn't engender unity.
You understand,
really? Honestly, many thanks to you, Samantha Musa, for creating time to come to Inside Nigeria this morning. We go on a short break. When we return back, we go on a second discussion on the state of Nigeria healthcare system and the way forward. And of course, we shall be joined by Dr. Otabo Christopher, a consultant orthopedic surgeon here in Abuja. We'll be right back.
Yes, please. Le Vogue magazine is back in a big way, bigger and better than before. Hadiza, could you please join us here? Hadiza and members of Adam, please. Your attention is needed here. So Le Vogue is back and bigger, demonstrating the fact that despite the demise of the visionary, the vision continues and continues to grow. What else does a man want than that you have lived and your legacies remain and keep growing stronger?
He would just lift it up and then you just lift it.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it now is my very special pleasure and privilege to ask His Royal Majesty, the Sultan of Sokoto, the chairman or chairperson of the leadership group, to come forward and join me and hold on to one bit of this cloth so that we can jointly unveil the bigger, better, deeper Le Vogue.
Welcome back, and now we shall be looking into the Nigeria's deplorable healthcare system and the way forward. We have seen the National Association of Resident Doctors embarking on strike for almost 2 months now, and nothing has been done. And of course, joining us to discuss this matter this morning is Dr. Christopher Otabo. Good morning, Dr. Christopher.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for
You're
having
welcome
me.
to Inside Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Dr. Chris, let me take you on this. Your people, the National Association of Resident Doctors of Nigeria, has been on strike for almost 2 months now, and there seems to be no end in sight to the long jam. As a medical doctor, in your own view, what can we do to actually overcome this?
Thank you for the question. The National Association of Resident Doctors is the militant arm of the Nigerian Medical Association, which is the umbrella body of all the doctors in Nigeria. And whenever there is a problem and doctors need to address issues, the resident doctors usually take the lead. So it would be wrong for you to think that it's just the National Association of Resident Doctors that has a problem. The entire medical system in Nigeria has a problem. And there are deep problems. But top on it is the welfare of doctors. Doctors are smart people. Doctors are intelligent. Doctors are hardworking, and they are sacrificing in their job. For you to leave them with peanuts at the end of the day, whereby they will not be able to take care of their basic needs and the needs of their families. You even put the patient that they are caring for at risk, because a hungry doctor is a dangerous doctor. A frustrated doctor is a dangerous doctor. And a doctor whose child cannot attend a good school will not give you the best of attention in terms of healthcare. And just next door, you find what's happening with the politicians and other parastatals of government. Those guys are living large. So the doctors don't want to be the monkeys, the proverbial monkeys who are walking while the baboons are chopping, as it were. So this is the fundamental issue. Things need to change. Our doctors need to be remunerated better, and the hospitals also needs to be properly funded in order to run as a hospital rather than a mere consulting clinic.
All right, doctor, you talk about monkey walking, baboon chopping. Permit me to use that slang. Now,
Yeah.
Are you not surprised this is happening? Because we have two medical doctors at the ends of affair in the health sector and even the labor ministry. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ohanire, is a medical doctor. His Minister of State, Senator Olorunmi Bema Momora, is a medical doctor. Then the other man intermediary, the Minister of Labor and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, is a medical doctor. So are you not surprised we have this situation?
Well, not really. I will blame the Minister of Labor to the extent that he could not moderate his comments and his emotions as far as the strike is concerned. But the problem is beyond him. Yeah, the problem is a long-standing decadence in the healthcare funding over the years. In 2001, the African leaders came together to append their signatures to a document, the Abuja 2001 document. And in that document, 15% of the country's budget, each country's budget is supposed to be expended on healthcare. Since that date till now, not up to 7% of Nigerian healthcare budget is allocated to health. And in 2013, that committee also met again, and I happen to have been a member of the planning committee that hosted all the African heads of state in 2013 to review that document. And it was re-emphasized again that without health, there's really nowhere any country will go to. But up until this moment of speaking, we have not crossed 6%. We are budgeting 300 billion naira to take care of the healthcare of 200 million people. That's abysmally low because healthcare is not cheap. It's capital intensive. The Minister of Labor does not have what it takes to pull out the money. Neither does the Minister of Health. But like I said before, if a man does not have money, he should have good words, kind words to talk to people. But when you treat people as though they are trash and they don't matter, then they will have to prove to you that they matter. But the fundamental issues still remains funding for our healthcare. And we have prioritized many other things over and above healthcare funding, and we are paying the price for it, and it will get worse.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, what about private sector partnership in the health sector? Is it enough?
Yeah, that's the way to go, really. Public-private partnership is the way to go because obviously governments have failed, and you don't need any prophet to tell you that in the next few years, the tertiary healthcare system, the public hospitals are going to collapse like a pack of cards. Yes, and the only option will be the private sector. And this is the time for the government to quickly, there's a Department of Public-Private Partnership in the Federal Ministry of Health. There's a director in charge of that department. They should quickly close ranks and explore this option, in order that healthcare will still be available. Look at, for instance, since the strike started, though some people have died, but almost 90% of healthcare services that are being rendered in the country are being rendered by the private sector, even up until now. And to tell you how insensitive the leadership of our healthcare system is, I am not aware of any private hospital where the Minister of Health or his junior minister visited to say, look, how are you guys coping? I mean, the government doctors are not working. Are you fine? Is there anything we can do for you? Can we add a new block to you? Do you need funding? Do you need support? Do you need, manpower and all that? Everybody just keep quiet and pretend as if nothing's happening. It's been 2 months now. 2 grueling months for Nigerians and 2 hectic months for private sector. Some people may want to argue that, the private sector are in business. But first of all, they have to save life. And I take, for instance, I run a private practice. I've put saving life over the business aspect of it because it's a corporate social responsibility. You cannot, I mean, you see someone bleeding or someone needing oxygen, you cannot insist on money, over and above saving that life. And so the challenge is back to the private sector. So what do we need to do? The government need to understand that they cannot no longer handle this. It's beyond them. So they need to look at the private sector, explore the efficiency of the private sector, explore the experience of the private sector, and give them the impetus to run the hospitals. Let's say, for instance, uh, an average teaching hospital gets like 300 million naira above and above in terms of um, subvention. I don't know what the facts are now, but it used to be around there. And look at the private sector, the private hospital counterpart. They receive nothing. If anything, they are inundated with taxes, different forms of taxes. The government can say, you know what, we can't handle this anymore because the leakages are much, the inefficiency is much. Private sectors, please, can you come on board and partner with, let's take, for instance, national hospitals, take the laboratory, take the radio diagnostics, even take the wards, so we can hands off. And then if we have money through the national health insurance, we can pay for the treatment of Nigerians. Because no matter how much money government puts into the corrupt system, it's going to go down the drain. Maximum you can get is 30% of value for money. But if you give such money to the private sector, they will come back with testimonies. You know why? Because they are efficient and they know that there must be accountability. And nobody would give me a letter from the minister or from the presidency and insist that I must employ people who are not competent. Why? Because the board would take responsibility, or the management takes responsibility for whatever happens, and they cannot afford to let that place go down. So in the process of doing business, they are rendering efficient healthcare. Let me give you an instance. We do like in a month, we do like close to 10 kidney transplants in Alliance Hospital, for instance. I mean, there's no teaching hospital in this country that does even 2 in a month. And yet, our funding is so limited, it's private funds. And yet, we're making impact. Not to talk of the other high-tech surgeries, like the brain and the spine surgeries that we get involved in. Look at our MRI has been working for the past, since 2015 till date. It has not broken down one day because attention is given to it. Yet, government hospitals send patients to us. So why don't you leverage on this efficiency in the private sector? I think there's a lot of discussions that should be going on now, but not much seems to be happening, unfortunately.
All right, Dr. Chris, you spoke well about the private sector involvement in the healthcare delivery system in Nigeria, but then let's talk about the adequacy. How adequate is it? Because we still have a lot of Nigerians going abroad,
seeking care.
Yeah, seeking medical care or medical tourism, and you know what that means for the our foreign exchange earnings. Now, how adequate is the private sector involvement, and how close are we to achieving the universal health coverage?
Thank you for the question. Universal health coverage is still very far from us because what that states is that anyone who needs healthcare should be able to get it without thinking of whether the person has money in his pocket or not. You and I know that if you go to any hospital now, you will be asked to pay, except a very few places where they will treat you before they ask for money, because the system has to run itself. So universal health coverage is still far. We are still very far from it. In terms of public-private partnership, the adequacy, we have moments of brilliance. We have some beautiful experiments here and there. The Gariki Hospital example is one very brilliant example, where the hospital was taken from government, renovated, and and is doing much more better than it was doing before that was taken over. We also have some centers in Lagos, University of Lagos Teaching Hospital, and so on and so forth, where sections of the hospital have been taken over by uh, private players, and they are rendering efficient health care system. But overall, in the private sector, in the private hospitals milieu in Nigeria, we have all sorts of players. We have the very excellent, top end service providers. We have the middle class, and then of course we have those who are not doing as well. In terms of um, our ability to stop medical tourism, I can speak for myself. We've done a lot. In fact, last week there was a patient who was supposed to travel for kidney transplant to, I think, the US, but they couldn't travel because they had issues. COVID came and wrecked everything. So, and the patient was dying. They came to Alliance Hospital and they had their kidney transplant, and the man has been discharged home. But by and large, the medical tourism cannot be completely eradicated. Reason being that you cannot stop people who have their money from going to where they choose to go to. And that brings to mind the confidence issue concerning our healthcare system. A lot of people don't trust our healthcare system. And because of that, they would rather fly out for even minor things than to stay here and be treated. But that notwithstanding, we've posted excellent results. We do over 100 joint replacement surgeries here every year. And these are people who before now were heading abroad. But COVID did something beautiful for us, because with COVID, people could not go out. So Nigerians started looking for local alternatives. And I can tell you that our inflow of patients since COVID has increased drastically, and people are happy and they are wondering, you mean we could do this, in Nigeria? So what the government needs to do is to exploit this opportunity and expand it so that the public-private partnership can increase. The fear a lot of people have about allowing the private sector to run things in Nigeria healthcare is that healthcare will be expensive. But I have a solution to that. The solution to that is health insurance. If the government can really focus on health insurance, which is what they should be doing really, focus on health insurance. Make sure that at least 60% of Nigerians are insured. When you are insured, you don't care about where you will be treated, whether it's a private hospital or a government hospital, because you are not going to be paying from your pocket. Let the insurance company determine where they want to take you to. In India, the government hospitals in India are like pig houses. They are abysmally dilapidated and ramshackled. Most of the people are migrating from there to the private hospitals. And by the way, when you see Nigerians travel to India for treatment, over 95% of those Nigerians who travel to India for treatment are heading for private hospitals in India, not government hospitals. They're going to private hospitals. So why can't we build similar system in Nigeria? The government of India was responsive. They provided capital, they provided tax break, they provided import duty exemptions and all that. So there are doctors who's trained in places like the US and in the UK who have acquired the necessary competence. They came back and they established world-class hospitals, and they are reaping the benefit of that. I mean, over $1 billion is spent on medical tourism, from Nigeria every year. That's at least about $100 million leaving this country every year just because our citizens are flying out for treatment abroad. That we definitely have to reverse that trend. I'm doing mine, in my own small scale, but we need to scale up so that we have more centers of brilliance around the country, and then people's confidence in the healthcare in Nigeria will begin to come back.
All right, Doctor, finally, I think you said a lot about the challenges and how to revamp the health sector. But let me take you back to the issue of medical tourism. You said there is no way we can stop Nigerians who have the means to travel abroad to seek medical care. But then, what do you say about the leadership, the political leadership, who keeps saying medical tourism is also a causative factor for a capital flight, but they are not showing the example?
Exactly.
Well, personally, it's my own opinion that leadership should be by example.
Exactly.
If you have the president or the handlers of the leadership of this country always jetting out to get medical treatment abroad, even at the slightest, for the slightest reasons, then you don't have the moral justification to tell others not to do so, especially when they have the means. So we haven't been fortunate enough to have leadership in that direction who will give the right signal to Nigerians in terms of that. But nevertheless, we can't say because one person or a few people are doing this, and then that is the right way to go. That's why the doctors are on strike today, to press home a message that look, Nigerian lives are worth it. The fight is actually more for the lives of Nigerians than for the doctors themselves. Because if the doctors are well off and they have the right tools to work with, then it will cascade down to better healthcare services. So the government may not, the doctors may not be able to stop whoever wants to go abroad for treatment with Nigerian money, but they sure can draw attention of the government to the decadence and make a demand for a change.
All right, Dr. Chris, I wanted to allow you to go to attend to patients, but then we have comments from our viewers from across the country and across the world. Let me just read one to you. It's a question from one Adebayo Amadu. He's asking, Dr. Chris, do you think it is right for governments or organizations to force Nigerians to take COVID-19 vaccine? Incidentally, you are from Edo, and Edo State government is actually asking workers to take COVID-19 vaccine. What's your take?
I don't mince words about this. I think it's the most irresponsible thing for a governor to force his citizens to take vaccines. People should have right over their bodies. They should have vaccine should be free will, and people have the right to take it or not to take it. But when you violate people's fundamental human rights just because you were given the toga of leadership, that's, for me, is irresponsible. See, I have been a doctor for many years, over 20 years. I have never seen where people are forced to take vaccines. And I have my questions about the administration of this vaccine around the world. I followed international media and all that. When people raise questions, you should be eager to answer the questions instead of keeping everybody shut. When you do that, you tend to make it look like there's something to hide. The governor does not even know what the vaccine is all about. He's not even a scientist. He has not asked the fundamental questions about the vaccine. During the weekend, I read about Nicki Minaj, who has 22 million followers on Twitter. She tweeted on her Twitter page that her cousin had had COVID vaccine and developed a testicular inflammation, and he became sterile. And he was supposed to get married, but the cousin's fiance called off the wedding. And then she was saying that, guys, I need to know more about this vaccine before I would take it. You know what Twitter did? They cut her off. I mean, there's no medical invention that is without its own side effects. Medications, everything. throw up everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let people willingly accept whether they will take it or not. But to say without taking it, you can't go to school, you can't buy, you can't eat, that sound looks like witchcraft to me. And I think it should not be encouraged.
Dr. Chris, our time is fast spent, but you raise a lot of issues. I don't know if you need to come back to explain a lot of things about this vaccine, because your submission actually suggests you are encouraging vaccine apathy. And this is even beyond Edo now. Federal government is contemplating doing the same thing. Now, we all agree that COVID-19 is a public health emergency. So can government enforce a rule in the interest of the public, for public good, to save the rest of the population?
You are not saving the rest of the population. People who have been vaccinated are infecting other people. Okay, it's like if you have vaccine, it's like an umbrella, it's supposed to cover you. Then the other man decides to be in the rain, and then the rain is beating you. That is having umbrella, you are complaining that the person that is in the rain is going to cause rain to beat you. I don't understand that.
So COVID-19 vaccine is 100% providing us 100% immunity against contracting.
I don't see, because if you are giving me a vaccine, it's supposed to help me, and it's supposed to help me fight, you that is not vaccinated. But if you are complaining about me that is vaccinated, I'm the one now complaining, that you that didn't get the vaccine, you want to harm me. I don't understand it. It's not adding up. I don't know if you understand my argument.
I get it.
The people who are not vaccinated should be the one complaining, not those who are vaccinated. You are already vaccinated, and you are saying that me that I was not vaccinated, I'm going to harm you. I don't know how that is supposed to add up. So government should come clean, scientists should come clean and explain all these things, so that people can make their choice. If people have the right to choose what they want in their bodies, a lot of healthcare practitioners don't believe in this, and they are refusing, whether Nigeria or abroad. I used to encourage a lot of vaccinations because it has saved millions of lives. But on this one, I have my reservations.
All right. Many thanks to you, Dr. Otabo Christopher, consultant orthopedic surgeon based in Abuja. We hope to see more of you here at the Leadership Podcast Studio for more engaging discourse.
Thank you.
Thank you for creating your time to join us this morning, Dr. Christopher. Out there, he said it all, and
Yes.
I have a lot of reservations now, honestly speaking. This is a continued discussion.
And the way he broke it down, that people that are vaccinated are not complaining that the ones that are not vaccinated, they're supposed to confer immunity on you.
Exactly.
And most times, your immunity is supposed to shield those ones too. Head immunity, those that are not vaccinated.
Thank you very much, listeners out there. It is time to go, Winifred.
Yeah, it's been an interesting program. Honestly, it's been a nice one. And but then you forgot to mention our award.
Okay, Leadership won newspaper of the year. Yes. I don't know. Can you bring back the Leadership front page for viewers to see?
Yes.
Yeah, Leadership won the newspaper of the year at the NMNA 2021 award in Lagos, Nigerian Media Night Out Award 2021, and Leadership came out as the best newspaper for the year 2021. Many thanks. Congratulations to Leadership staff.
Among 7 nominees.
Exactly, we beat 6 others to this award. So congratulations to Leadership staff in Lagos, Abuja, and across the rest of 35 states of the country. Listeners, keep it with us tomorrow for another edition of Inside Nigeria. Bye for now.
Bye.